Mr. Correa.
Thank you, sir, for holding this hearing today. I'm also a member of Homeland Security. I'm the ranking member of the Border Security Subcommittee. And in Homeland, we've probably had at least half a dozen hearings on this issue, Mr. Chairman, and I welcome one in the Immigration Subcommittee. This is an important issue. National security is important for America. Democrats, Republicans for America. We should be talking immigration, but let's talk border security. I want to remind everybody that the most deadliest attack on American soil, 9/11, we just had a commemoration across the country to remember, was carried out by folks with visas. One came on a student visa and the rest came on tourist and business visas. I have visited the border numerous times, and I've talked to the men and women in uniform, and I've asked them, what is it that makes your job better? What can make you more successful? The answer is intel, working with good intelligence, working with allies across the globe, Brazil, Mexico, the Middle East. That's what's helped you identify terrorists. In fact, if folks are interested in working with us, Chairman Clay Higgins and I have a bill, H.R. 4575, that will enable us to work much closer with our allies across the globe to make sure we have better intel. But when you talk about undocumented terrorism, we're gonna mix them up. Okay, let's talk about terrorism and undocumented. If I can have this poster behind me, this is an undocumented soldier, an undocumented Marine. Does he look like a terrorist? Mr. Bestman, does that look like a terrorist to you? Mr. Noseworth, Mr. Moreno, Mr. Scott, is that a terrorist behind us? He made the ultimate sacrifice right after 9/11. And there's a lot more dreamers in American uniform who will probably be undocumented after the Supreme Court rules on the status of dreamers in the United States. I just want to make sure people understand terrorism versus immigration versus undocumented workers. Now, gentlemen, if I can, I'm going to ask each and every one of you, do you favor deporting 10 million tax-paying undocumented workers from the U.S. right now? Mr. Scott, yes or no?
I believe in the rule of law, and if you broke the law, you should be held accountable.
Would you deport them right now? It's a yes or no.
Judge ordered they should be deported, I would deport them.
Mr. Moreno.
It's impossible to do.
Yes or no? Would you deport them right now?
Yes.
Mr. Runsworth.
No, and I would try to legalize.
Mr. Bestman.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Would you support an amendment to H.R. 2, the immigration reform bill just passed by the majority, that would essentially exempt farm workers from mandatory E-Verify? Would you support that amendment? Mr. Scott?
No, I believe E-Verify is a very
Mr. Moreno?
tool.
No.
Mr. Bestman?
E-Verify has to happen.
That was the chairman's amendment to H.R. 2. Let's come back to terrorism. Let's talk about Colombia. Okay, FARC was essentially decertified as a terrorist organization in 2020. Is that correct? 2021, is that correct, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, so, but yet we continue to talk about members of FARC, a civil war that happened 20 years ago, as terrorists. Is this refugee movement something unique to the United States, or is this something that's worldwide? Mr. Scott, worldwide or U.S.?
I believe there are struggles.
Mr. Moreno, I got less than a minute, guys, come on.
I couldn't hear the question, sir.
Is the refugee movement something unique to the United States, or is this a worldwide phenomenon?
No, it's not unique.
It's worldwide.
Yes, sir.
Colombia right now is hosting 3 million Venezuelan refugees. And we just talked about Colombia as being a source of the problem. And in my 20 seconds left, and the trips I've taken to Latin America recently, I think we have to think about the border challenge on a worldwide scale, okay? We have a lot of allies south of the border that are hosting refugees are working with us. And for us to sit here and talk about what's going on at that border, I think, as policymakers, is very wrong. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I yield.